The Dodgers are expected to make a trade for this all-star outfielder. Is it a good idea? We got 10 Dodgers that won't be back in 2026. Andy Paez was connected in some way to the Emmanuel Clase betting scandal. All that more coming up next on a jam-packed episode of Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball. Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You guys ready to parade? We got a parade. The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series.
Ohtani starts the 50-50 clock.
Monkey magic.
Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone.
Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Live from the heart of Los Angeles, this is Dodgers Dugout Live with your host, Doug McKain.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the _1 Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube. My name is Doug McKain. I cover the Dodgers for Dodgers Nation, a credentialed member of the media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. If you're new to the channel, do me a huge favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. If you want to support every single episode, hit the like button, drop a comment down below. Also, join our Discord. We're going to be doing a lot of exclusive Discord stuff in the offseason. And basically, it's thousands and thousands and thousands of Dodgers fans talking Dodger baseball 24/7, 365. So it's a great place to talk ball. Also, the LA Sports Report. That is my newest show, my newest channel. It's about all things LA sports: Lakers, Dodgers, Chargers, Rams, UCLA, USC, Kings. Go, Kings, go. If they're talking about in the world of LA sports, we're talking about over there. Gonna do a lot of Dodgers stuff, a lot of breakdowns. We're doing some giveaways. So go to LA Sports Report and check that out. Today's Dodgers Dugout Live poll question of the show. I asked you guys over on the X, should the Dodgers trade for Steven Kwan? Should they hit the Kwan? And right now, 53% say no, and 47% say yes. That's a close poll. We're going to talk about that on this show. There's some rumors about that as well. And just a reminder, this is a live show, and we've got super producer Noel Sanchez rocking with us, rocking his Raiders t-shirt. Got the Bo Jackson shirt. That looks like it's officially licensed for sure. I love that.
You know, I love my licensed merch, D-Mac.
Hey, that is a fire shirt. Got the matching shoes, socks, matching everything over there, which is pretty awesome stuff. So yeah, Noel's looking for your comments of the show, and he's going to feature them later. We're back to the studio. We're back to the Monday through Friday. We're back to the show structure that we had for a long time, where we're going to commit long stretches to the 7th inning stretch, and we're going to be giving out a comment of the show every single show. And Noel is looking for your comments all throughout the show. So be on the lookout, and also just keep firing away throughout the entire show, and then we'll feature those questions later on the 7th inning stretch. But there's so much Dodger baseball to get into. Yes, it's the off season, but you know that is when championships are built. So it's time for Dodgers Dugout, and there's so much Dodger baseball to get into. So let's get right into it.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
All right, so lots of stories to pick from, but I want to start with stuff that I know you guys want to talk about. Look, it was the World Series postgame show, and people in the comments saying, "Yeah, D-Mac, we get to talk offseason free agency rumors." We're going to enjoy the World Series. We're not done talking about it, but I know that you want to get into it, and I think this is our first real juicy, delicious offseason rumor so far. And it is that the Dodgers have been linked with Guardians all-star outfielder Steven Kwan. Bob Nightingale, friend of the show, he wrote in his most recent piece that the Dodgers are expected to pick up trade talks with Steven Kwan and the Guardians this offseason. According to Bob, he wrote, they nearly traded for him this during the trade deadline. They nearly traded him to the Dodgers, the Guardians did, at the trade deadline, and Los Angeles will come calling again. The price tag will be high, but the Dodgers certainly have the prospect capital. Now, this is interesting because, one, we know the Dodgers need outfield help. The Dodgers outfield was one of the worst in all of Major League Baseball when it comes to overall production. Defensively, from Teoscar in right to Conforto in left, they were grayed out as two of the worst defenders in the sport. Steven Kwan, if you start with his contract, he's projected to make $8.8 million, and he's controlled via arbitration through 2027. So if you do trade for Steven Kwan, you get him for 2026 and you get him for 2027. I would not say he's a slam dunk to get traded this offseason by Cleveland because of that, because of the fact that even an organization like Cleveland that is a little cost conscious, to be nice about it, is not going to just trade him for a bag of chips and some empty ketchup packets and a bucket of baseballs. They're not going to give Steven Kwan away. But the Dodgers, after the trade deadline, they had been ranked as the number one farm system in all of baseball. They have the prospect capital to get a deal done with Cleveland. I think, too, another thing you got to factor in as well is we've seen a lot of times with the Dodgers, when they ultimately get deals done, it's with organizations that they have long-standing communication with, natural trade partners. Look at the White Sox last year and the year before that. I mean, there were talks last year and then the year before that. You traded for Michael Kopech. You had the Tommy Edman deal done in that deal. And the year before that, the Lance Lynn, Joe Kelly. Organizations that they have a continuous line of communication with are ones they typically get deals done with. And Steven Kwan is a situation, and this is where I'm going to tie in the Emmanuel Clase, is I can tell you from my sources that leading up to the trade deadline, even throughout the course of the year, when the Dodgers were interested in adding another high leverage reliever, a closer, the guys that were available, the Durans, the Mason Millers, those top tier guys, Emmanuel Clase was the Dodgers guy that they were linked to, that they were deep into analysis and evaluations for, and that if they were going to trade for one of those top end closers, Emmanuel Clase was most likely going to be that guy. And the Dodgers, we've seen throughout their trade history, especially under Andrew Friedman, when they make a deal and they part ways with top prospects, they like to get maximum value. They like to buy one, get one free. They like the BOGO deals, right? Look in 2021 when you trade away your top two prospects, Keibert Ruiz and Josiah Gray, to the Nationals for Max Scherzer and Trey Turner. They like to get multiple guys in the deal. Look at Michael Kopech and Tommy Edman, Miguel Vargas. They like to get value by, hey, we're going to give top prospects, at least let's maximize this. We know the prospect capital is high. I can tell you from talking to people around the league, the Dodgers tax is real, right? You trade with the Dodgers, you are going to try to get everything you can from them. And Kwan, as a player, he's really good, and he would solve some problems the Dodgers have in their outfield right now, but he did not have a good year in 2024 by his standards. And in 2025 by his standards. In 2024, though, he was really good. He had 292, had a 368 on base, a 425 slug, had a 131 weighted runs created plus, 100s league average. So he was 31% above league average offensively. Those numbers in 2025 were down, though. The batting average went from 292 to 272. The on base went from 368 to 330. The slug was down from 425 to 374, and he was 1% below league average offensively. Now, that is just 1 year, and you have to consider that a guy's probably going to get closer to where he was when he was at his best, when he's less than 30 years old and he's not injured. But he really struggled down the stretch. I mean, the 450 last plate appearances of the season, he hit 248. But what he brings to the table, the kind of player he is, he's arguably the best defensive left fielder in Major League Baseball. So last year, for example, Michael Conforto, who played the majority of innings in left field, he was graded out as one of the worst defensive left fielders. Last year, Michael Conforto was a -8 outs above average. That was in the 5th percentile. That's bad. And then you combine the fact he's Michael Oferfordo. I feel like I can say that now. I feel like I'm not afraid to say it now because I'm not going to go in the clubhouse and see him, right? But okay, obviously I love you, Michael Conforto. When you add the bat and you add the glove, below average across the board. Steven Kwan, though, one of the best defensive left fielders in baseball. And then you add the fact, too, that he brings an element, a dynamic with the stick that this Dodgers offense could benefit from. He strikes out at an 8.7% clip. That is elite territory. So I think when you look at how he could fit into this Dodgers offense, this is a guy that for most organizations, he's batting leadoff. He ain't batting leadoff with the Dodgers. They got a guy that's going to be there for the foreseeable future in Shohei Ohtani. But what he could do is he could be a very overqualified number 9 hitter, a guy that bats at the bottom of the lineup. And then you turn that lineup over, you put some runners on base for Shohei Ohtani. And I think throughout the course of a season, you just get a better and more consistent offense versus Michael Conforto is a guy that they said, okay, maybe it's 20 home runs, has some power, goes gap to gap. Yes, he has some bad ball in his game, but not to the degree that Steven Kwan does. So this is a guy that certainly has that power in his game, a guy that can get on base for you, a guy that you trust in situations to make contact because he doesn't strike out. And that's elite. You look too at what does the best season look like? I always like to look at this when I'm looking at potential free agents. What does the best season look like for Steven Kwan? Well, the most home runs he's ever hit in a year was 14 in 2024, and that was in 540 plate appearances. Hit close to 300, can get you doubles, can get on base, and he strikes out less than 10% of the time. So that's kind of the best version of Steven Kwan. Is you're not getting a slugger, you're getting a guy that can put bat to ball, doesn't strike out much. Last year's expected batting average was at 273 in the 82nd percentile. Now, I will say, what you like about him, doesn't strike out a lot. I mean, in the 99th percentile, he doesn't swing and miss essentially ever. He's the best in baseball when it comes to getting his bat on the ball. He is an 8.7% whip percentage, just in the 100th percentile. Now, there are things in his game that I will say don't profile as very Dodgery. And what I mean by that is the Dodgers like guys, they like players that can hit the ball hard. And his average exit velocity, 86.2 miles per hour, 7th percentile. Barrel percentage, hard hit percentage, he's in the 1 percentile, 19.3%. And that was last year. Now you look at the best version of Steven Kwan, like we talked about in 2024, and even that version, he doesn't hit the ball hard. So if you're thinking you're going to get a guy that's going to hit rockets off the bat, that's not who he is. That's not the type of player he is, but it also does not mean that he can't help this team. So I think if you're on the Guardians side, you're kind of thinking to yourself, wait a minute, do we have an all-star level player that's on the decline already? And maybe 2024 was his peak and he's not going to replicate those results. So let's trade him now while he has a couple years of team control, while teams like the Dodgers, contenders are interested in him, while we can still get some top level prospects for him. Do you want to go that route? Or if you're the Dodgers, you're saying to yourself, wait a minute, we can buy low here. We can get the Halloween candy the day after Halloween. We can get it at a more discounted rate. That's kind of the ultimate question. And then you also have to factor in as well, what does this mean for the left field? Does this mean that you bring Kike Hernandez back and he's a bench bat throughout the season? And then what does this mean for him in the postseason? Because if you trade for Steven Kwan, you have multiple years of team control. He's an all-star level player. You're going to have to give up top prospect capital to go and get him. He's a guy that you're going to want to get every day at bats. And the hope is that he plays in the postseason. I mean, that's a long time down the road. Another factor, too, is do you throw him in right field? That's another thing to consider as well, because you have Teoscar Hernandez in right field, And Dave Roberts said multiple different times down the stretch when he was struggling in right field that he was considering a move to left. So would they kind of have that conversation with Teoscar this offseason saying, hey, we gave you a run at right field during the regular season. You made some misplays. I mean, you look at the World Series. I mean, the Varsho single that turned into a triple. And that's where right field kills you. Singles and doubles, they can become triples in right field. If you make a mistake in left field, unless it's a catastrophic mistake, you're usually pretty solid about keeping that guy at second base. And also the way the ball comes off the bat has a different spin on it. It just, look, you don't put your best outfielders in left, right? You put your best outfielders in center and right field. And the bottom line is Teoscar Hernandez, as much as he rakes at the plate when he's good, he's got to be in left field. Last year, Teo, a -9 outs above average in the 3 percentile. And he's getting older. I can't imagine him playing right field for an entire season next year. So the options there are, do you move Teoscar Hernandez to left field and hope that he turns things around? Do you consider trading Teoscar Hernandez and paying down some of that $33 million that you owe him and see if a team will to take him on to be their DH? That's a question that I know no one wants to really talk about, but like I said, a lot of shows, they talk about what has happened. I like to talk about what's going to happen, right? So those are some tough conversations. So let me know down below in the comment section, do you like the idea of Steven Kwan? I think from basically what I've heard and what I think as well is the Dodgers like Steven Kwan. That's established, right? They like Steven Kwan, right? They've shown up at the car dealership and they're like, hey, I could see myself in this car. And then they go up to the window and they see the price and the MSRP. They're like, I don't know, not at that price. So maybe if the Dodgers walk outside of that car dealership to their car and the car salesman starts to chase down Andrew Friedman and company, say, wait, what if we could do this and this and this and this, right? That's the point where I think the Dodgers get involved with Steven Kwan. When you establish that initial trade package, whether that be an Alex Freeland, a Dalton Rushing potentially, something like that, and see if you can get him at your price. I think they like Steven Kwan at their price. I don't think they view Steven Kwan as a guy that, hey, well, we got all these prospects burning a hole in our pockets. We need to get him. We need Steven Kwan as a Dodger. He's not one of those guys, but he is someone that they value his defense. They value his ability to hit for contact. They still think that they can probably optimize him in their organization. I mean, look what they did with Tommy Edman. Look what they did with Ben Rortvedt. Look what they've done with so many different players, countless guys. So that is something to consider is that. And then how about a guy like Taylor Ward, right? From the Angels. I mean, he's projected at $13.7 million. Probably not going to see Artie Moreno do a deal with what he considers the devil in the Dodgers. But I do think that one of the number one questions this offseason is what does the outfield look like in 2026? Because I can tell you this, all these warm and fuzzy feelings about Kike Hernandez, and I love Mr. Keektober. Go buy the shirt at gearup.la. He's not an everyday outfielder in the regular season. He was 30% below average defensively. He got some injuries that he was dealing with. Postseason Kike, where do I sign up? He makes plays. He has moments. The Dodgers aren't back-to-back without Kike Hernandez. And then Andy Paz as well. I mean, what's the future of Andy Paz? Does Tommy Edman's ankle allow him to play center field? Do they swing big and try to make Kyle Tucker an offer to bring him in? So there's a lot of questions involving the outfield for the Dodgers. And right now, Steven Kwan, I'd be here for it under the right price. Am I all the way in where I'm taking off the watch and throwing the lien on the mortgage, taking off the wife's earrings and throwing it in the middle of the table? I'm not all in on Steven Kwan. But if you get Steven Kwan at a price that makes sense for the Dodgers, he's someone that could improve this roster in more ways than one. One thing you need to consider is the defense needs to improve for LA. As the team gets older, as players get older, defense declines. And that's one of the byproducts of an aging Dodgers team. So Let me know down below in the comment section. We got anything for Steven Kwan here? We've got Jason B, 199 super chat. My man. Twins rebuilding, Buxton's trade, 5-tool player. You guys know I love Byron Buxton. I love Byron Buxton. I wanted Byron Buxton for years. He's got no trade clause, man. Byron Buxton is a guy that you have to, and the Twins are for sure rebuilding, and we know that, but I can specifically remember at the All-Star game, I was at the All-Star game, and Byron Buxton was asked about being traded, and he pretty much said the last thing you would want a player to say if you want to trade for him, and he said, quote, he wants to be a Twin for life. And he has a full no trade clause. And when a player has a full no trade clause and said he wants to be a Twin for life, a lot of these dudes, man, talking to these dudes, they don't like uprooting their families, man. They really don't. You can live a good life having $100+ million in the bank and being with one franchise for a long time. And yeah, sure, there's ways you can entice guys to move, but last time I checked, Byron Buxton has no plans to waive that no trade clause. But appreciate that. George, D-Mac is like a Jamaican. He has 20 jobs. Interesting. You're Jamaican me crazy, okay? We're Jamaican a roster for next year on this show. But do Jamaicans have a lot of jobs? That's pretty awesome. Yeah.
I think Rob, you went to Jamaica early in the year, right? Yeah. Can you speak to that?
Rob, what's the wildest thing you did in Jamaica?
Oh man, we stole old lady's lighter. You know what I'm saying?
You stole an old lady's lighter?
Don't incriminate yourself on here, bro.
Hey, look, she wants to smoke up. You know what I'm saying? She can handle the light. You know?
Wow. All right. Hey, it's better steal a lady's lighter than a World Series like the Astros did in 2017. Okay, I just want to throw that out there, but I love it. Dong Kim, my man Dong Kim, he's been down since day one. Love me some Dong. Okay.
Hold on.
Bruh.
Hey, that came naturally. LSAR, Laser with D-Mac. Oh, appreciate it. This is awesome. Laser with D-Mac is awesome. Laser is like having Jim Rome cover all of LA sports, but better with D-Mac. Wow, that's pretty much the best compliment you give me, because you guys know I called Jim Rome when I was 9 years old, and I had to take about Shaq and Kobe, and he racked me. He's like, rack him. So I love me some Rome in the jungle. So I love that. Swoop Dog 63. Kwan could lead off, pushing Ohtani into the 2-hole. Yeah, so that is another element too, is as you move forward with Shohei, there's always going to be the conversation about moving him down in the order. But if Mookie can hit still, and he gets back to being Mookie Betts, all-star level hitter like he was after August 4th and until the end of the season when he was hitting at an all-star fringe MVP level, if you get that again, there's no reason not to have Shohei, Mookie, and Freddie Freeman. But to your point, if Mookie's offensive production is on the decline and you're looking for a new leadoff hitter, Steven Kwan certainly profiles to that, and putting Shohei Ohtani in the most important position in the offense, leadoff and batting second, where you can maximize at bats, that's certainly a part of the equation there. And like I said, a lot of the Dodgers' thought process, their calculus is the future, and that's something to do about that. That one guy, 3155, D-Mac, how do you feel about Sheehan or Ryan to the Guardians for Kwan and maybe a prospect or two? So River Ryan's going to be back off the Tommy John surgery. Emmet Sheehan is certainly someone that I would prefer to keep in the organization. You're going to get Gavin Stone back. If you could, I think it really depends on how they view Dalton Rushing. Because the truth is, if Dalton Rushing is going to stay in this organization and they view him as an impact bat, but they also kind of view Will Smith as a guy that you want to get him off of his knees. You want to get him off his feet throughout the season, and you're going to give Dalton Rushing significant playing time. Well, I mean, at some point, it becomes this, though. Like, even if Dalton Rushing is a capable backup, which you have Ben Rortvedt, by the way, even though Dalton Rushing is a capable backup, you're basically keeping him as an emergency piece for Will Smith to get a significant injury. And of course, you don't want that, right? But that's really the only way that you're going to get Dalton Rushing the playing time that it's going to require for him to develop into an everyday catcher, an all-star level catcher. So I think the question for Dalton Rushing is, one, what is his value around the league based on what he did for the Dodgers in 2025? Do they say, oh, he's still that top prospect, he just didn't get the requisite at-bats to develop because he's blocked by Will Smith? Or two, do they say, hey, we kind of saw him get some run and we didn't love it, so his stock is a little down, right? You drove that car off a lot if you're the Dodgers. You drove that car off the lot a little bit. It doesn't have the same value. So that's a big question. And one of the big questions, I'm going to drop a biggest questions episode, and that's certainly one, is how committed are the Dodgers to Dalton Rushing? Are they rushing to trade him, or are they going to keep him as a valuable piece that hits behind Will Smith? I talked to Dalton Rushing during spring training last year, and he told me that his role is to make Will Smith a Hall of Famer, to make him an all-star and do anything he can to help him. But I also think he's very ambitious too, and he wants to be a guy that, you look at his earning power. I mean, I would look at Will Smith's contract if I'm Dalton Rushing and say, hey, I could do that too, right? I mean, I'm not saying he can or he will, but that's the mindset that these players have. They all think that if they get an opportunity, there's a chance that they could be that guy. And I certainly think Dalton Rushing is a starting caliber catcher. The other thing too is, does Will Smith have a position change down the line, right? Does he go to third base or first base later after Freddie Freeman? Who knows? But all right, we've got, we'll save that one about Emil Morales. But now let's go to, coming back from the break, we're going to go talk about 10 Dodgers that won't be back next year. We haven't talked about Justin Dean and Tony Gonsolin and the decisions the Dodgers made on Alex Vesia and Max Muncy. We also got Andy Pages to talk about. Andy Pages, somehow, some way, Andy Pages is linked to the Emmanuel Clase betting scandal. Not in a bad way. He didn't do anything wrong at all whatsoever. But it is interesting that he's involved in some capacity. That is coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live. Welcome to the Dodgers Nation Podcast Network, your front row seat to everything Dodgers all season long. Home of the #1 Dodgers podcast in the world, Dodgers Dugout Live, hosted by me, Doug McKain. Friends call me D-Mac, and we cover everything about your boys in blue, everything you need to know about Dodger baseball in less than an hour. We've got breaking news, post-game breakdowns, roster updates, trade rumors, in-depth player analysis, Dodgers trivia, you name it. Whether it's a wild walk-off at the Ravine, a key call-up from OKC, we've got the insight, we got the coverage, and we're here for you all year long. We're the #1 Dodgers site on every platform, and we're born and based in LA. We're loyal to the soil. Dodger baseball is what we do. Trusted by tens of thousands of daily listeners, Dodgers Nation is more than just recaps. We are LA. Whether you're in Echo Park or out in the Valley, Beverly Hills, whatever it is, if you bleed blue, this pod's for you. The more you guys subscribe, the bigger we can build, and we can do this together. So stay up to date with our Dodgers Nation post-game shows and breakdowns and podcasts. You can listen while you're lifting, while you're in traffic, or while pretending to answer work emails. We won't tell. Subscribe now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your baseball fix. So if you're a new listener or a longtime listener of the podcast, write us a review and we'll read it on the show. Join the conversation, stay ahead of the game, and never miss a pitch with the Dodgers Nation Podcast Network. And welcome back to Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube. Okay, here in our second segment, this is pretty weird, but very interesting. Andy Pages, somehow, some way, our own Andy Pages has been involved as far as someone that was connected to the Emmanuel Clase betting scandal in the weirdest way possible. So if you guys have seen the story that's come out about the Guardians starter Luis Ortiz, who was placed on non-disciplinary paid leave on July 3rd in connection to this gambling probe, and Cleveland Guardians closer and former Dodgers trade target Emmanuel Clase, well, he was on that probe after, and we learned on Sunday, Jeff Pass reported that Ortiz and Clase, they were indicted on wire fraud conspiracy, quote, honest services wire fraud conspiracy to influence sporting contests by bribery and money laundering conspiracy. If found guilty on all counts, they could face up to 65 years in prison. Now, if you look at the documents, the Eastern District of New York's 23-page indictment is thorough, and it contains a little blurb, a little anecdote about the Dodgers from a game against the Guardians on May 28th. So Emmanuel Clase, he entered the game in the ninth inning. The Guardians were up by 3, and the first batter that Clase was facing was Andy Pages. And the whole betting scandal, the scheme that Ortiz and Clase were involved in, was putting money on any given pitch and whether that pitch was a ball or a strike. So bettors would bet on whether or not Ortiz or Clase would throw a ball or a strike. And Clase and Ortiz, they allegedly intentionally threw balls to ensure payouts for bettors and ensure their own small cut of earnings. So essentially, these dudes are intentionally throwing balls to get money, $7,000 a pitch, and different types of payouts. And Clase against Andy Pages, he was allegedly, we'll throw this out there, allegedly, he was supposed to throw a first pitch ball to Andy Pages, and he did everything he could to throw that ball. It was a slider into the dirt, off the plate, and Andy Pages wasn't supposed to swing at it because if you are a player that has control of the strike zone, you're not going to swing at that pitch. But Andy Pages swung and missed at what was supposed to be a ball, and it was a strike, and it cost a bettor $4,000. It cost a bettor $4,000 because Andy Pages swung and missed at a ball from Emmanuel Clase out of the zone. $4,000. This is the specific anecdote from the charges. I had to dig deep to get these. It says specifically on or about May 28, 2025, the Cleveland Guardians played an MLB game against the Los Angeles Dodgers. The game began at approximately 1:10 p.m. Before the game, at approximately 1 p.m., bettor 1 sent a text message to the defendant, Emmanuel Clase de la Cruz, confirming whether Clase was, quote, all set. Clase responded, yes. At approximately 3:36 p.m. in the middle of the game, bettor 1 and bettor 2 each placed wagers totaling approximately $4,000, including a parlay bet that a pitch thrown by Clase would be a ball or a hit by a pitch. Clase threw a pitch that appeared to be a ball, but the batter swung, resulting in a strike and leading bettor 1 and bettor 2 to lose their wagers. Approximately 20 minutes after bettor 1 lost the wager on May 28th, 2025, bettor 1 sent a text message to the defendant, Emmanuel Clase de la Cruz, a GIF image of a man hanging himself with toilet paper. Even though the Cleveland Guardians won the game, approximately 10 minutes later, Clase responded to bettor 1 with a GIF image of a sad puppy dog face. So that's pretty interesting because we know that Andy Pages is the big dog. And the big dog, he did not take that treat, and he ended up just innocently somehow being linked in this. And I think it's funny, right? Everyone's saying the Dodgers are ruining baseball, putting together the best roster. They are ruining baseball. Really? Looks like the Dodgers are helping avoid betting scandals, right? I mean, when you think about it, but just a crazy, wild, weird story. I don't know if we're going to ask Andy Pages about that, who is now my friend. I've done an interview with him in English. His first ever English interview. Someone DM me and say it was first English interview. So that's pretty cool.
That's big time, bro.
Yeah, it's what we do, right? Andy Pages, man. I love Andy Pages. I hope I want to see guys come to this organization that are homegrown talent. So I always root for that. But Noel, this is a very weird story, the kind that we like.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I mean, just watching the album play it again real quick. Just watching the replay is like funny. Just having all the context now. Like, think about how mad Clase was in that moment.
And you know what's funny? He's kind of staring down like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah, there also was I didn't see the clip, but I saw people saying there was another video in that same little highlight montage of all those wild pitches. And there was one where like he clearly yells after someone like swings at a really bad pitch he threw.
And that had to be pretty obvious. I wonder who kind of spilled the beans on this. But here's the funny thing too. Andy Pages only walked 2 times in September with 86 at-bats, no walks in the postseason with 51 at-bats. I mean, this is a guy that went long stretches without walks, right? And the fact that you're trying to throw to that guy, I mean, it's almost like they didn't do their homework on who they were going up against.
Yeah.
And you know what the funny thing is about Andy Pages, too, if you watch him all season long, there'd be so many at-bats where he would get to 3-2, and then he would swing and miss. And then or you put the ball in play. And, I mean, he went on tears throughout the season. But, that is, Andy Pages, he's such he's a God-fearing religious man. I think he knew that, hey,
you had to protect the integrity of baseball.
I had to protect the integrity of baseball. I don't want these degenerate gamblers to make money off of me. Maybe Andy Pages was like wearing a wire. He was an undercover agent from the feds. Like, I mean, who knows? Maybe that was something that that he was involved in. But of all the guys that they expected that to, that's pretty wild. That is pretty wild to think about that.
Based on your research real quick that you did, do you know if any of this was going back to last postseason? Because I know Clase was really struggling last postseason.
That's a good question. It's really pretty specific on that window of time. But once a gambler, always a gambler. Once a degenerate, always a degenerate. And this is insane to me. I mean, this could not be more insane to me. If they were saying $700,000 a pitch, $7 million a pitch, I'd be like, okay, like don't do it, but it would at least kind of be worth his while if he wanted to be a scumbag like that. I could see a bum player doing it, right? Like if you're just a trash player that's only going to be in the league for a year, you're getting your cup of coffee in this league, maybe, but this is Emmanuel Clase. The dude signed a 5-year, $20 million contract, and he was going to be a free agent at age 31 in 2029. Like he was going to make anywhere from $50 to $100 million on his next deal, and it's all gone now. Yeah. I mean, it reminds me of like guys like Wander Franco.
Yeah.
You even say, Trevor Bauer, Julio Urias, these guys that
lined up for big paydays.
You were going to get big paydays, and it's all like blink of an eye, it's gone. So, yeah, when it comes to being a moron, when it comes to being a straight up idiot, Emmanuel is in a Clase all by himself. That's what I'm going to say about this.
You go.
But interesting stuff. And by the way, keep our boy Andy Pages out of your scumbag, degenerate gambling schemes. Okay, Andy Pages is a great dude. I can say that. All right, so next we'll get into these 10 Dodgers that we think will not be back. This is 10 Dodgers that won't be back in 2026. And we have not done an episode since the Dodgers made some roster moves. They've already made some decisions on club options, ones that we knew were slam dunks, ones that were guaranteed. That's a lock. 4 Dodger dogs in a Michelada level lock. And that is Max Muncy's $10 million club option and also the club option for Alex Vesia, which is north of $3 million. Both an absolute lock because if Alex Vesia went to arbitration, he'd probably get around $4 million. So the Dodgers are getting Muncy and Alex Vesia on the underpay side. So those guys are locks. And we got some exclusive stuff. Our guy, Noel Sanchez, Dick's Sporting Goods in where? Cerritos?
In Cerritos, yes.
Cerritos. They got a great auto square there.
They do.
Cerritos Auto Square. Sponsor the show. Come on now. Come on, sir. This is some great exclusive content from Noel. Max Muncy's exclusive reaction to the Dodgers picking up that club option.
Max, 5 days ago, you guys won the World Series. 6 hours ago, your club option for 2026 got picked up. And now you're out here ready to meet fans, sign some autographs. Just how good does it feel knowing you're back with the team for next year? And how important is it for you to get back to the fans like this?
Yeah, I mean, it means everything. Chance to get back in the World Series, win the World Series. It's the whole reason you play this game. For me, the Dodgers, I've expressed it so many times. They mean everything to me. I wouldn't still be in baseball if it wasn't for the Dodgers. So to get another year with them, hopefully I can get more in there, but to at least get this next year really means a lot to me. And then in terms of the fans, just trying to continue this week-long celebration we've had going on since we got back home off the plane.
Hey, Max, I want to ask you about that Game 7. Had a little bit of everything. Of course, your home run, Andy Pages' catch, Miggy's home run, Will Smith's home run. Did you have a favorite moment from that game, if you could choose one?
Yeah. To be honest, I think just Yoshinobu putting his body absolutely on the line one day after he threw 96 pitches like that. I know it's not really like a moment, but for me, him to go out there and do that, it's one of the most impressive things that I've ever seen done on a baseball field. And I've seen quite a lot of impressive things considering one of my teammates is Shohei. So to me, it's Yoshinobu doing that, one day after pitching.
And Max, how does it feel just to get this love and reception for you tonight?
Oh, it means everything. And, I'm not surprised at all. Dodger fans have always been the best. They always will be the best. And, just like I said, a chance to keep this week-long celebration we've had going. It's awesome. I'm sure the fans are going to be, pumped. They're going to have a lot of, cool things to say, and I'm excited to interact with all of them.
Has there been anyone that's reached out to you that you maybe wouldn't expect it or congratulate you, or has it just been flooded with texts?
Kind of more just flooded. There's a lot of old friends, old coaches, old teammates, family members, the usual sort, but it's been a lot of them.
And Max, so Freddie Freeman's been going viral for hitting the worm at your guys' celebration afterwards. Did you see that going down? What were your thoughts? And just what have you thought about the social media reaction of people going crazy to it?
Well, we obviously knew Freddie could move a little bit. That's why our double celebration is kind of modeled after him. So we knew that there were some moves in there, but as a big-ass man doing the worm, I'll say that. I don't think anyone was expecting that one.
So if you guys three-peat, will you hit the worm afterwards?
You know what? If we three-peat, I'll find a way to learn it as quick as I can.
We'll be looking forward to it.
What do you tell these kids that are going to be going through these lines today? They might ask you for any sort of advice.
Well, the piece of advice that I always give to kids is to make sure they're having fun. Baseball is obviously a children's game at heart. It's our pastime. If you're not having fun while playing it, you're not out there for the right reasons. And, even at our level, there's a lot of stress involved with everything that goes on. But if you're not having fun, you're still not out there for the right reasons. So for me, I always try to pass on the message to make sure you're having fun.
Thank you, Max.
Thank you, Max.
Awesome stuff by our guy, Noel Sanchez. I love the offseason because that's what Noel, he's out in the mix, the autograph signings, even during the season as well. But you go kind of crazy in the offseason, man. What was the vibe like at Dick's?
It was awesome, man. He got a really good entrance just from the crowd. I mean, I was talking to people. They were waiting there since 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Just so they could meet him. He wasn't signing until 6 p.m. Very next day was Will Smith. So yeah, just really dedicated group of Dodger fans. I feel like that's when the real fans pop out, and that's why I like going to those events. And then, of course, the players are just going on their runs after winning the World Series, connected with the fans, talking about how they're feeling in the moment. And I feel like none of those guys are sleeping. We saw them at the Laker game. You were kicking in with the guys at the Kings game. Like I said, we've been to multiple signing events, Will Smith at Raising Cane's. And yeah, it just feels like they've been continuing this party for a couple weeks.
Yeah, people can't get enough. I mean, when your team wins the World Series, you just can't get enough. And Max Muncy, a no-brainer at $10 million. Even if you're going to trade him, which I don't think they are, at $10 million, a guy that gives you over 3 WAR in 100 games. I mean, that's value beyond belief. So we'll talk some more Max Muncy, but I do want to talk about Alex Vesia. The Dodgers, they did make a decision on Alex Vesia, another automatic one at $3.65 million, picking up that club option. And Alex Vesia, of course, he did miss the World Series. The Dodgers put out a statement before the beginning of the Fall Classic saying it was with heavy hearts that Alex Vesia is going to be out for the World Series. And we now know why. And it's absolutely heartbreaking. All of our thoughts and prayers are with Alex Vesia. He went to Instagram and made a post over the weekend that had a caption that read, Sterling Soul Vesia, our little angel, we love you forever, and you're with us always. Our beautiful daughter went to heaven Sunday, October 26th. There are no words to describe the pain we're going through, but we hold her in our hearts and cherish every second we had with her. Thank you to the Dodgers for their understanding and support during this time. Our baseball family showing up for us, and we wouldn't be able to do this without them. Thank you, Dodger Nation, Blue Jays organization, and all baseball fans for your love and support. We have seen all your messages, comments, and posts. It brought us so much comfort. Lastly, we'd like to thank Cedars-Sinai and all the medical staff who helped Kayla and Sterling. Every person we came across was truly so incredible. With love, the Vesias. So just an absolute heartbreaking update. And Alex Vesia, his wife, they're incredible people. His teammates, the media members that work with him, the Dodgers staff. If you're making a list of the most likable, the most respected, the guys on the team that people just love to be around, Alex Vesia is one of those guys. I mean, I've seen it when the cameras are off, and that's really where you judge, I mean, how nice a guy is. I mean, when the cameras are off, you really get to see who these guys really are. And Alex Vesia is someone that I can honestly say, like I said, if you're making a list of the most likable, the most amicable, just amiable Dodgers, he's right up there. And it's absolutely heartbreaking. It absolutely just you can't really put words into what they're going through. And it's great to see all the support from the fan base out there, from his teammates. It was great to see the Blue Jays players having 51 on their hats. It was great to see the Dodgers winning the World Series and doing that, I think, with Alex Vesia on their mind and in their hearts. And I know that it was another motivating factor for them to go and win for Alex Vesia. So yeah, it's just absolutely an incomprehensible, unspeakable, tough time, and something that's just well bigger than anything that could happen on a baseball diamond. And yeah, from all of us here at Dodgers Nation, he's in our thoughts, he's in our prayers, and he's just a great guy. I mean, I love Alex Vesia. I got quick story. I mean, in San Francisco, I think I've said this on the show, after the game, we were leaving Oracle Park at the same exact time, and there were some fans out there looking for Alex Vesia, and he just put his hoodies on, and I was like, hey man, I'll be your bodyguard. You know, I'll shoo fans away from you. And he's like, no, it's all good. It's all good. And we just walked the streets of San Francisco, and I was hanging out there for like an hour, and he answered every single question I've ever had about what it means to be a reliever, stuff I can't really mention on this show. And he couldn't be nicer, and he couldn't be nicer to fans, couldn't be nicer to the media. He's one of those guys that you just really appreciate because he's hyper intelligent. Like the way he sees the game, the way he loves the game. He's someone that his energy is so palpable and so infectious that he impacts the people around him in such a positive way. And yeah, I've gotten to know him a little bit. I could say that, yeah, I mean, this is an A1 dude, and his family as well. So we're all thinking about you, the great Alex Vesia, and he is going to be back next season. Now, another guy, let's do our list of guys that won't be back. Let's start with Tony Gonsolin. Tony Gonsolin. Tony Gonsolin was DFA'd. That made room on the 40-man roster for Max Muncy to come back. And Tony Gonsolin has gone from all-star, the Catman. The Catman had used up a lot of his 9 lives with injuries. He was great when he was on the mound. But the problem is he just couldn't stay healthy. And with the depth of this starting pitching rotation, the guys that they've added, it was just time. It was time, and he's going to get another opportunity with another team. But the truth is that with 5 years and 152 days of service time, he's eligible for arbitration, and he's likely to make $5.4 million next season. So, yeah, you're not going to commit to that, knowing that you got guys that you're going to have in your starting rotation, even past the frontline guys, even past the Yamamotos and the Snells and the Ohtanis and the great guys that they already have, the Glasnows, right? He just doesn't fit in, and the Dodgers looked at him and said, hey, look, I mean, good when he's healthy, no doubt about it. 3.34 ERA in 86 games, 78 starts and 387 strikeouts, 149 walks in 4 and 11 and 2/3 innings. But yeah, it was time. It was time for Tony Gonsolin and the Dodgers to part ways. This one didn't surprise me. I'd been kind of hearing stuff for a little bit of time. And look, I mean, we've seen this happen. And we saw a couple years back where you're in a position to look at a 40-man roster that needs some space, and you're going to have some tough decisions. So Tony Gonsolin, first guy, he will not be back in 2026. Second guy, Clayton Kershaw. Okay, this one is, I want to just make sure there's no one that when spring training starts that's saying, oh, Clayton Kershaw, just come back, pull a Brett Favre, pull a Roger Clemens. He's done. He threw his last pitch. And what I love about his last pitch, it was a pitch that helped the Dodgers win a World Series game in the 12th inning of Game 3. It was such a massive moment right there. I really felt like obviously his family and his close friends, I'm sure they watched the game on a different level as far as nerves. But man, I really felt like I was sick. I was absolutely sick watching Clayton Kershaw run out through that bullpen gate, because it almost felt like, don't do this, baseball gods. Don't do this to him. This is a guy, all he wants to do is help this team win. All he wants to do is help this team win. Do not put him in a position where he's going to blow an extra innings World Series game that, let's be honest, the way the Dodgers played in games 4 and 5, it could have cost them the World Series. I was sick. I literally could not watch. As a devout Christian, it was impossible, but somehow, some way, our boy came through. He goes into that game in the 12th, bases loaded, facing Lucas, falls behind the count, and then it goes full at 3-2, and then he fouls a couple pitches off, and then he goes slider down and in, and Lucas, he grounds to second. Tommy Ed makes a great shovel play there. They get the out at first, and Clayton Kershaw did his job. So his last pitch as a Dodger was an 88-mile-per-hour slider down and in to get a ground out, and he got the job done. So Clayton Kershaw, the next time you'll see him at Dodger Stadium, it will be in full dad mode. He told us at the celebration that he was on the no plan. So no plans for next year, but those plans will not include being a big league pitcher. So we'll get a statue one day. Nowhere 22 again. So no Clayton Kershaw. Then number 3, Michael Conforto. Michael Conforto will not be back. I saw a Bleacher Report article that had predicted that Michael Conforto would be back with the Dodgers. Maybe to get his ring in the summertime, but he's not going to be back with the Dodgers. No Michael Conforto. I always say that there's no such thing as a bad 1-year contract. He was a disappointment just because he did not hit like they expected him to hit. Michael Conforto was not as bad as a Noah Syndergaard, but he did not turn into that JD Martinez or that Teoscar Hernandez. And I still think that there's teams that will give him a shot in this league, but it will not be with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Then there is Kirby Yates. So Kirby Yates, he won't be back with the Dodgers. They signed him to a $13 million deal, hoping that he would be a trusted, high-leverage, right-handed reliever. And the coolest thing that Kirby Yates did was get a tattoo of Kirby, the video game character, holding up a World Series trophy on his left butt cheek and taking a picture with him, with Kike Hernandez. Noel, Kike's face was a little close to that butt cheek. Like, how close is too close to a butt cheek if you're Kike, and how gone was he there too?
If you're in the same frame, I think that's a little too close.
Same zip code maybe. No, but honestly, I respect. I would have probably done the same thing. I would have probably gone cheek to cheek. You know, cheek to cheek, just to be with some big leaguers. Cheek to cheek is crazy. Hey man, you know what it is. But our guy Kirby Yates, I will say, one of the coolest things about Kirby Yates, his teammates loved him. Like, he was absolutely beloved by his teammates, and there's something to that. And I think that a lot of the young guys kind of leaned on him for advice, and he was just there for everyone. So I thought that was pretty cool. But no Kirby Yates. We won't be back in 2026. That brings us to number 5, Michael Kopech. Michael Kopech, you were hoping that maybe, just maybe, he was going to build on that 2024 year where he was indispensable. He was pivotal to the Dodgers World Series in 2024. A high leverage right-handed reliever that could throw gas, was throwing 102 with the Dodgers, and they needed him. He came up in a big way. He was the deadline acquisition in 2024. This year, though, only pitched 11 innings, had multiple stints on the IL. He's not going to be back. Michael Kopech can say with confidence was not going to be back with the Dodgers. Michael Grove. So Michael Grove is an interesting one. Michael Grove is a guy that you were kind of thinking, okay, Michael Grove is someone that could have been something as a reliever, but he was outrighted. He is kind of a journeyman at this point. We'll see when it comes to his career, but he won't be back. Justin Dean won't be back. So Justin Dean was basically claimed immediately off waivers by the Giants. He's not going to be back. He'll always be a Game 6 World Series hero for the Dodgers. And I do think that he probably really appreciates that the Dodgers kind of put him on. They gave him an opportunity as a guy that can be a late inning defensive substitution, someone that has speed. He has more World Series rings than postseason at-bats. But still, Justin Dean played in 17 of the 28 games that he was active during the regular season, only had 2 at-bats, still didn't get a hit. And the postseason, he played in 13 of 17 games, but didn't get an at-bat. So that's an opportunity for him. I think the thing with Grove that being sent outright to the minors, he didn't pitch in 2025. He underwent shoulder surgery in March. He has got 3 years and 90 days of service time. He would have been eligible for salary arbitration this offseason for the first time. So we'll see what happens there. Then you got Esteury Ruiz. That's one as well that you could certainly see as a reclamation project that spent some time on the big league roster. Will he be there? That's another one you factor in. And then how about Evan Phillips is another one to keep your eyes on. Evan Phillips has been throwing at Dodger Stadium. They could non-tender him if they wanted to. I think they possibly throw in a Tommy Kahnle-like deal, a multi-year thing, and let him get healthy as almost a reward for kind of pitching his way through all those series that he did in 2024. Didn't pitch in the World Series for the last couple of years. Andrew Heaney's not going to be back. Then the two biggest questions are Kike Hernandez and Miguel Rojas. And I don't think that anyone could say that both of them are 100% going to be back at this point. I think it's better than 50% for sure. And as Miguel Rojas said on the show, he feels like this team deserves an opportunity to three-peat and to keep this core together for one more year. And I certainly think you could make the case that, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But on the flip side, if you're the Dodgers, and I would love to see Kike Hernandez and Miguel Rojas back. I really, really would. Even though this is an aging Dodgers team, I absolutely think that they could play a role for this team. Miguel Rojas can still play defense at an elite level. Kike Hernandez does what he does in the postseason and in the clubhouse. Same thing with Miguel Rojas. But let's be honest. If they're gone, yes, you're going to be upset. Yes, you're going to be sad. Yes, you're going to fall to your knees in the middle of a Chipotle. Yes, it will be sad to see them do a goodbye post. But let's be honest. You're not going to question this organization. Will you? Because I think outside of trading Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto and changing the shade of Dodger blue to a different color, the Dodgers can do whatever they want for the most part, and you're going to have to trust in their process. Because at some point, this organization does have to think about the totality of Ohtani's 10-year contract. And I already think that it's a win. You win 2 World Series in 10 years, that's a win. There's no way that you can look at the Ohtani era as a disappointment at this point. There's no way you can. Multiple World Series, a dynasty has been established, 2 unanimous MVPs. There is no doubt about it. The Ohtani era is a success. And as Miguel Rojas told us, Shohei Ohtani said to him after the home run, you can't retire. You have to play 10 more years with me. So if Ohtani wants Rojas back, Rojas is going to be back. And he'd probably feel the same way about Kike Hernandez. But it is interesting. And I will just say that as the feelings of the World Series not going to wear off, but as you start to kind of get a little clarity about building this roster, the reason why Andrew Friedman is he makes tough decisions. You made a tough decision when you non-tendered Cody Bellinger and you didn't bring back Justin Turner. And remember when you traded Puig, shout out to Yasiel Puig, friend of the show, friend of all of us here. Shout out to Yasiel Puig, the wild horse. Love Yasiel. You made a tough decision when you traded him to the Reds when you did, right? So I'm just saying it's not 100% lock just because they're going to have an opportunity to develop some young guys, to bring in some young guys, and we're going to continue to pick up that conversation all throughout the offseason. But I think Kike Hernandez needs to be back. I love to see Miguel Rojas back. I still think you can make this roster younger in other areas that we'll continue to get into throughout this offseason. But everyone out there acting like it's 100% lock, I wouldn't be just so sure. I really wouldn't. I think this organization is very fluid. They're very intelligent as they let the World Series rings speak for themselves. And it's going to be an offseason of big questions. And that certainly is one of the big ones. So will they be back? That's a big one as well. But all right, running a little late, but we'll do a quick 7th inning stretch. We're still kind of in these post-World Series shows. So these are some jam-packed episodes. So let's get into it. That's coming up next. All your thoughts, comments, and questions, all your hot takes. Noel is going to look for a comment of the show. We're going to both give out a comment of the show.
Got a couple contenders already, but keep them flying, guys. Make
Got some contenders. All right, awesome. Let's do it.
The 7th inning stretch.
Anthony Keene, one of my favorites. A Dodgers Dugout Live, Dodgers Nation, day one, $9.99. Mookie to second, Tucker to right, Teo to left. Can't leave Teo out for another inning. Let's run it. Okay, so I'm going to dedicate a whole episode on Kyle Tucker this week because I've been making some pros, making some cons, talking to some people about Kyle Tucker, and he is the big ticket item. He is the big ticket item for an outfield acquisition. And certainly if he hits the way he's able to hit, the defense that he plays, they love the fact that you can have a lefty, balance the lineup. There's a lot of positives in him. Or you can get Cody Bellinger on a cheaper discounted rate. So we'll talk more about that, but I do agree with you on a couple of those that you got to move Teo to left. Mookie, I've said on the show, if he goes to second, that's a happy medium between shortstop and right field. And then you wonder if that positively impacts the bat throughout the regular season. Mookie has told me that playing shortstop does not impact him at the plate. We'll see if he continues to play that position. If he feels like, I proved I can do it. I got out of my system. Does he feel that way? He might. And that's going to be another big question that I can't wait to ask him at some point early is, does he still want to be the shortstop of the Dodgers moving forward, a guy that was a finalist for a Gold Glove? That's be interesting because Show Bichette is available as well. You sign Bo Bichette, you move Mookie to second. There's some options there as well. We got to $1.99 super chat ETA on when we may see Emil Morales. So the thing about a guy like Emil Morales and this organization is you got to do a lot to really get to the show. And it would be a while before you saw Emil Morales. I mean, this past year, he played 59 games, 881 OPS. He was in Rancho, then he made it up, and he's 19 years old. You have a lot of people that feel very highly of him. I mean, he's a 7th-ranked prospect in the Dodgers organization. I like the size, 6'3". I saw a game when he was on the Quakes, and yeah, I mean, overall, a 911 OPS, 14 home runs, 70 RBI. He's a guy that's a long-term play. It's going to be a while before you see guys like Emmanuel Morales. I'm going to do something on Hyun-Suk Jung from what I heard from a Korean reporter tomorrow too. So that's interesting, but it'll be a while before you see Emmanuel Morales. We got healthy, wise, and fit. When the Dodgers sign Ohtani, people hope for a championship. Ohtani has helped win 2. If the Dodgers don't win a championship for the next 8 years, would that be considered a disappointment? I kind of feel like I answered this question, but I'll get back into it because I think it's interesting. I think it's a fun debate to be had. And the truth is let's say you spread those championships out, right? You signed Shohei Ohtani in year 1, he didn't pitch. So let's say he won his first one in year 2. And you're like, okay, great. There it is. There's the Ohtani World Series. He pitched. He had some incredible games, reached base 9 times in game 3 of the World Series, had the 3-homer, 6-inning, 10-strikeout game in the game 3 clincher in the NLCS. He's proven not only he can win a World Series, but contribute to winning a World Series in a big way. And he wins in year 2, and then they don't win in 4, 5, and 6, and 7, and he wins in year 8. And you spread those 2 out. What if it's in year 2 and year 6, year 2, year 7, year 2, year 8? You look at, guys like Barry Bonds didn't have a World Series. Alex Rodriguez won World Series. There's a lot of really great MLB players. Mike Trout never got out of the first round. But as far as that impacts the overall organization, I think that you can't say it's a disappointment. It's only about padding the legacy at this point. Now, what you can say is, how does the last 5 years look? Like, I think the only thing you can say about getting into the disappointment territory is you're in this first chapter of the Ohtani Dodgers era where you have the core in place with Mookie and Freddie, Yamamoto and Snell, and you got these guys that are in their 30s, a lot of them, they're established, and you're winning World Series titles. The only way you can, I think, apply the disappointment label is if he's still performing at an MVP level after this chapter, and they go out there and they replace the current core with guys that don't perform and they don't allow him to win another World Series when you think you could win with him, then I think that maybe you could say you'd be disappointed at the second chapter. But no, look, the truth is, the Braves won 1 World Series in that 14-year stretch. A lot of look at the Dodgers. They went so many years making the postseason, but coming up short. I think for an organization that has won 9 World Series titles in 140 years, to say that winning 2 and 10 would be a disappointment would just not be true. But I know this organization, they're not satisfied. They want this to be the golden age of Dodger baseball, and they want to add as many chips as they possibly can. We got Toad. I picture the Impractical Jokers guys sitting behind the scenes saying, okay, now Pages swing at that pitch, that first pitch. Yeah, that's a good one. Jerome, Pages helped the FBI before he helped the Dodgers in the World Series. So Jerome doesn't watch baseball. So we confirm that Jerome does not watch baseball. Do you not have access to the internet, a television set, the radio? Because you do realize that Andy Pages arguably made the most important catch, him and Sandy Amoros, in the World Series in 1955 of any Dodger in the World Series. You do realize the guy that you just said did not help the Dodgers in the World Series actually saved a World Series. So I'm just guessing you're a troll from another team. You're Emmanuel Clase chatting from jail, or what is it? Or you're just not a real Dodger fan. I don't know. You let me know what it is. No one will look for your follow-up, because to say Andy Pages helped the team in the World Series is absolutely ridiculous and asinine on every level. Leonardo Blanco. Hey, D-Mac, can we call you Doug Stradamus? Your picks and calls with the lineup and pitching for this year's playoff series were spot on. Thanks, D-Mac. Hey, Leonardo, honestly, I was pretty much I hope that made up for my mind. Like, I was in my bag. Lineups, I called the Miguel Rojas move to second. I called a lot of things, right? Hopefully that made up for me saying Michael Conforto was going to be an all-star, right? Because I'm not sure it did. But I hope it did. We got our guy, Gabe Smolson, social media superstar over here. So I hope that did. But appreciate that. It was a lot of fun. Being locked in, stuff I'm hearing, stuff I'm thinking, and it was a great ride to the postseason. But appreciate you rocking with this, Leonardo Blanco. Hopefully that's why you guys rock with this show, man. Carl, I haven't been the same since I saw D-Mac shirtless. You know what? Look, you guys, I pay up my bets, right? I'm not like Emmanuel Clase, right? I pay up my bets, And you said if they win the World Series, I got to do the postgame show shirtless. And someone said, I said, you know what comment kind of hurt my feelings as well? Someone said that D-Mac's got a Kershaw build.
Damn, really? Yeah. Oh, you like a goat build?
Oh, no, I don't know. I don't know, man.
Oh, you know, it's crazy. Someone just commented, someone made a compliment about your physique. They said, it was Luis Guzman 7647. He said, D-Mac, you losing weight, you look leaner.
Really? Yeah. Leaner and meaner. I don't know, man. I ate a whole cherry pie this weekend all by myself from the farmer's market. I don't know if I go. Hey, wait. Didn't you say that if the Dodgers win the World Series, you would do the first show back shirtless?
No, I didn't.
I'm going to get AI to have him say that. He's going to do tomorrow's show like that for sure. We got the 4-seater Yama working out at UCLA Baseball Stadium is my feel-good YouTube watch. He's working out at Jackie Robinson Stadium. That's awesome. Pika Peak, Scooble's the big fish to get, though. I'd be willing to cough up DePaul and Ferris for him, too. We'll talk a lot of Tarek Scooble this week. I reached out to some people that cover the Tigers. So, yeah, a lot of exciting stuff on that front as well. And it's fun to talk about, let's be honest. Dr. Villalobos, we already needed a right-handed pop, even with Teo on the team. By letting right-handed power go, we don't have that guy who can make that difference every once in a while. Kwan is not an even swap. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, if you're looking for that kind of production, he's certainly not that guy. The most home runs he's hit in the season is 14. And there's also some trade candidates as well they could pursue. We got Luis Rojas. Will Puig get a real look in spring training? That remains to be seen. I mean, he's 35. It's been a while. He's played in the KBO. He's played around in different leagues. So it's tough to say. I mean, is he blackballed from the league? We'll never know. I mean, I want to say yes, just because I feel like, I mean, at least deserves a shot. I mean, he at least deserves a shot at the minor leagues. If he's willing to take a minor league contract, show up, see what he can do. He still looks athletic, and I hope he does. Nando, D-Mac shirtless and Noel pantsless. You mean like right now? We got to Ben Mesa, 199. What about Freeland? He was amazing defensively. Yeah, and congratulations to Alex Freeland. He's getting a ring, and his girl got a ring too, right? They got engaged.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. Congratulations to them.
Noel's next. Young Midiraya Ha-Sung Kim for shortstop. Moves Betts back to right field and Teo back to left field. It's better for defense and makes Betts and Teo more comfortable. Look, at least right now, Mookie does not want to move back to right field. We've got that Stoner Cat. So, D-Mac, what do you think? Tanner Scott's comeback season or more of the same? Right now, hope springs eternal early in the offseason. I will say the encouraging stuff with Tanner Scott is just the fact that, look, you're not going to find a team that is going to want to pick up $56 million through 2028. So that's how much the Dodgers still owe him. So he essentially is a untradeable contract unless the Dodgers want to pay down a lot of that contract. So you have to factor that in and kind of hope for the best. But as far as just kind of the velocity and stuff, I mean, he was still in the 99th percentile in chase percentage. He was still in the 84th percentile in velo. So the encouraging aspect of the Tanner Scott signing, I will say, is it doesn't look like it's a Noah Syndergaard, like, oh, we lost 5-6 miles of velocity, of miles per hour velocity. There's no chance. Like, there is a chance that they can make him at least a contributor, which he was for most of last season. Let's be honest. I mean, he had his blow-ups. He definitely did. Last year, a 4.74 ERA, up from 1.75 in 2024. But hey, if I was going to tell you there was a position where one player was bad and then he got really good again and he got bad and good again, it would be as a reliever. So hopefully next year they will do it. D-Mac's wearing a relax watch. What up, George? The Conforto tattoo that never was. How do you know? No. W. Bazile, we need to treat the trade like school in summertime. No Clase. I like that. That's a good one. It's a little confidence show contender there. Kwan is a lead defender, plus he gets on base. He's a worthwhile tool for the Dodgers from Ellis Shiva Jones. Predator H3. It's an intense name right there. I could see rushing in left field, honestly. I'm going to have him on this show, and I'm going to ask him that question. Does he think left field could be an option for him? I think that it kind of starts there as well. I know D-Mac won skiing, so Livy Dunn is here too from back to back. I saw Livy Skeens at Livy
skiing.
Not yet. Livy Dunn at the All-Star game. She's really nice and really nice to fans. Saw her taking pictures. Saw her take a picture with Chelsea Freeman.
Nice.
And it would be great. It'd be more. I would love to see Paul Skeens here. I don't care who his girl is. Okay, like I don't care. Me could be with Antonio's girlfriend. Like I would want Paul Skeens in Dodger blue, and I certainly think that is one of the guys that you're willing to really empty the prospect clip for sure. Dodgers are getting old. They just need a 1-2 year rental like Bader until DePaula, Hope, Sirota, Freeland, Quintero, Rushing, Morales, Tibbs are ready. That's interesting. It really is. I mean, the pipeline is growing and there is a lot of talent there, and that's going to be a decision. Do you develop the future thinking they are going to play? Because most of those guys don't. Like, most of those guys either don't work out or they use them as trade chips. Yes, you get the Will Smiths and Andy Pages every now and then, but this is a very win now team when you look at the rotation, right? You don't sign Blake Snell for $182 million and Glass now $136.5 million. Yamamoto for the contract they gave him $325 million without wanting to commit to right now, because you don't know when Ohtani's going to fall out of his prime or when he's going to stop pitching. So that's another thing to consider as well. Lance Lynn just gave up a tremendous shot to right field. I like that. We got Javier. I'd prefer Arise at second with Tommy going to center than going after Kwan. Interesting. I'm not the biggest Arise guy. D-Mac, are you inviting Kirsten to the show this offseason, Senior Hefe? Yeah, we had her on the show last year. We'll definitely get Kirsten on. She's awesome. Ray Bar Simeon, great to be back in the chat with the most awesome baseball show. Appreciate that, Ray. All gas, no brakes. I wonder who threw out Aaron Judge at second base from the center field wall. There you go. Tell Ohtani I want Aroldis Chapman. We got JoJo Kwan will be a great addition. Let's get Devin Williams. We got 4-seater. That fan that caught Ohtani Stadium departing homer is going to be a millionaire, right, Noel? Yeah, what happened there, Noel?
Yeah, it was crazy. I made a little video about it. Basically, the dude that got the ball, he was eating nachos like out in Centerfield Plaza, and then he hurt the crack of the bat, saw the ball, and then it landed in that bush. And then he ran and like dove because he figured a lot of people were going to be coming, and it turns out nobody even saw the ball was there. So he scraped up his leg real bad, but he got the ball. And because it went out of the stadium and not a lot of people saw, you had to take like a polygraph, like lie detector test.
Really? Those things are 99% though.
Yeah.
That's awesome stuff.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, we got any comment of the show here? We got, here we go. This one, Kwan is Ohtani's favorite player. That's what he said on Japanese TV. He must be involved with this trade. Anything else you got? Let's see. Let's give it to Steven Kwan is a better choice than his son Kim, who hasn't done much for the Dodgers. Let's go with the, what do you think?
I like the, let's see. Well, there was some funny ones that we got earlier.
Let's scroll down. What else we got?
Those are like the
okay. We got Keith Potter, D-Mac. Do you think Teo was still injured? Think a bounce back in 2026? I definitely know he was dealing with the groin injury.
I got going for you.
All right, here we go. Let's see.
From Leonardo.
Here's the comment of the show here.
You'll like this one.
Comment of the show is going to Leonardo. Lance Lynn just gave up a home run to Michael Conforto. Boom. I like that. Dodger for life. Both those guys are Dodgers for life. All right, guys, we're running out of time, so let's go to the walk-off.
The walk-off.
All right, today for the walk-off, this clip went viral of Shohei Ohtani and his lovable dog Decoy walking at Dodger Stadium. It was an empty Dodger Stadium. It was a great shot of, look at this. Look at these two. Shohei Ohtani walking with his dog Decoy, getting a little run in. And I just want to say, like, if the Dodgers wanted to charge money for this, I would buy tickets to watch this. I think fans would buy tickets to watch this. Shohei and Decoy at Dodger Stadium running around. And this kind of, I think, really shows a lot too. I think Shohei's like, you know what? There is no such thing as an off season. I got to stay in shape. And he's so famous too. It's like, where could this guy go and walk around? Where could this guy go walk around with his dog? You can't do it in a neighborhood. Can't do it at a dog park. I guess the dog park that he goes to is Dodger Stadium. That's his version of a dog park. And look at this cute little decoy running around Dodger Stadium. This is awesome stuff, man. You got to love it. But love me some Shohei Ohtani. Love me some decoy. I love the fact that he's walking with his dog. And look, he's so famous. Just give him the keys to the stadium and go out there and put some work in too. But that is going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. Also, join us a little bit for the LA Sports Report, talking Lakers, more Dodgers. So much to get into over there. Rams, Chargers, USC, UCLA. UCLA moving to SoFi. Thanks up with that. Talk about that over there. Special thanks to super producer Noel and Emma and Robert, always crushing it on social media. But that's going to do it, guys. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button for your back-to-back World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers. And remember that nothing, absolutely nothing, brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. Until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series!
And when the upcoming winter gives way to spring, rest assured, once again, it will be time.